Before we start the movie, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell icon so you don't miss any of our new content. The story begins with John, who was in South Africa. At the time, John was strolling on the beach, and saw a group of teenage girls in the water without clothes. Among them was a girl named Jackie, who was the most beautiful, which made John focus on her particularly. After a while, Jackie noticed that John was watching her, so she dived into the water to avoid his gaze. John felt embarrassed and left the place. The next day, while John was walking near his home, he suddenly heard the sound of crying nearby. Someone was calling for help. John followed the sound and saw Jackie again, but this time she was in a sad state, seemingly beaten by someone. Although John did not know her well, he felt concerned for her. When he asked her what was bothering her, Jackie refused to reveal anything and told him to leave her alone. Nevertheless, John noticed the bruises on her face, and it was clear she had been in a fight. He offered to help her with her injuries, but she refused, unable to trust anyone. Despite John's attempts to help, Jackie continued to reject any assistance and showed a desire to remain alone. However, later, she asked him to buy her some ice for her injuries and $500. She threatened him that if he didn't do what she asked, she would scream and accuse him of harassing and assaulting her. At that moment, John felt frightened and agreed to her demands. He went to buy her the ice and the money, but when he returned to the place where he met Jackie, she was gone, and he could not find her anywhere. When John returned home, he found Jackie's hat lying on his doorstep. He tried looking for her around the house, but she had vanished, leaving the hat as if it were a goodbye. The next day, John went back to the beach, hoping to see Jackie, but she did not appear. However, a young girl in the water caught John's attention, reminding him of his daughter, who had died in an accident. Some time later, John saw Jackie again, this time with her father and brother approaching him. John tried to talk to Jackie and asked her about her injuries, but she completely ignored him and kept walking. He told her that her hat was still at his place, and that she could come get it anytime, but she ignored him again. John then realized that her relationship with her father, Michael, was not good at all. Later that day, John heard a knock on his door, and when he opened it, he found Michael, Jackie's father, inviting him to dinner, wanting to get to know him. John agreed to join them for dinner the next day. When everyone gathered, it became clear that Jackie's family was very religious, and her father Michael was extremely strict with his children. At one point, when he saw her brother Sam making fun of the food, he scolded him and nearly hit him, but Jackie intervened to defend him. During the argument, John discovered that this was not new behavior from Michael toward his children. Jackie became angry and took John outside. John tried to calm her down because he was attracted to her. At that moment, Jackie asked John for a cigarette and asked if her father knew she smoked. John then realized that her relationship with her father was truly broken. She told him that her father no longer mattered to her. John began asking Jackie about her issues with her father, and at first, she refused to talk, considering family problems private. But after calming down, she started telling him about a gang that had attacked their home previously, intending to assault her, but her mother sacrificed her life to protect her. Her mother was killed trying to save her. Since then, her problems with her father started because he blamed her for her mother's death, and saw her as the cause. When Jackie saw the scar on John's head, she asked him about it. He told her that one day he had been driving with his family, but he fell asleep at the wheel, which caused an accident that killed his wife and daughter. Since then, John had been living with guilt, seeing himself as responsible for their deaths. Jackie was deeply moved after hearing his story. Later, she went with John to his house to retrieve her hat. When John returned to give her the hat, he found her in his bedroom, asking if he was in a relationship or not. It seemed that Jackie had started to develop feelings for John, despite the large age gap between them. When she learned he wasn't involved with anyone, she asked if she could stay with him in his house. She tried to attract his attention, admitting that she liked him, but John didn't know how to respond and told her that he was old enough to be her father and had made a decision not to get close to anyone to avoid ruining their lives as he had with his family. He left the room, leaving her alone. Jackie surprised him by coming out behind him, without any clothes. But before we continue, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell icon so you don't miss any of our new content. After that, she told him that she wanted to have a relationship with him, insisting she was old enough to make that choice, but John refused. He gave her something to cover herself, which made Jackie upset, thinking he was rejecting her because she wasn't good enough for him. At that moment, Jackie started crying and told him that the reason she was crying the first time he saw her was because her father had hit her. She also told him that it wasn't the first time her father had beaten her. John was moved by her situation, especially since he had lost his own daughter, and he approached her to comfort her. However, Jackie still wanted to have a relationship with him, but John refused again, gave her back her clothes, and asked her to return home. Despite her refusal, John insisted on his decision and forced her to leave his house, as he was afraid of himself and what might happen. The next day, Jackie came to his house to apologize for what had happened. After some time, they were alone in the house again, and Jackie wanted John to accept her apology. John did forgive her, telling her he was never angry with her in the first place. Shortly after, they went for a walk together, as Jackie had requested, both of them still affected by the past. While walking, a police officer saw Jackie and asked her about John. She told him that John was a friend of her father's and her best friend. They continued walking until they entered the forest and climbed to the top of the hill. Jackie felt happy being with John and safe around him because he didn't take advantage of her. This was enough for mutual feelings of affection to start between them. After that, Jackie started talking again about the incident she had gone through, telling John that her father had said to her, "If you weren't wearing revealing clothes that day, no one would have tried to approach you." Jackie felt deeply hurt, believing that her mother had died because of her, and her father always blamed her for what had happened to her mother. Jackie was very affectionate toward John and asked him if he could take her with him, as she didn't want to live with her father, who treated her badly. But John didn't want to start a relationship with her because he was afraid that someone would find out he was involved with a much younger girl. He was also worried about her father, Michael, who might kill him if he found out. As they were leaving the forest, they exchanged romantic glances, and Jackie tried to seduce John with her looks. At that moment, John couldn't control himself and had a relationship with her because he was also attracted to her. Suddenly, they heard the sound of Michael, Jackie's father, and her brother Sam approaching in a boat. They quickly fled, and John was very afraid that someone would find out what had happened between him and Jackie. As a result, he decided to leave the town because he feared Michael would kill him if he found out. Before leaving, John found Michael at his house. John was terrified that Michael had discovered what had happened between him and Jackie, but it became clear that Michael knew nothing. As he said, "Before you travel, you should come and say goodbye, and then you can leave freely." John agreed to go to their house. When Jackie found out that John was going to leave without telling her, she became upset. She tried to convince him not to leave her, but he was determined. Jackie suspected that John wanted to leave to escape from her, and this made her very angry. She started provoking him by saying he was too old, and that no one would ever want to be with him. When she saw that her words didn't affect him, she went crazy, but Michael shouted at her, apologizing to John for what had happened. The next day, John was at home, and Jackie came to him once again, telling him that she didn't want him to leave her. She tried to attract him again for another relationship, and this time, she succeeded. However, during the relationship, someone was watching them, and it turned out to be the maid who had learned everything that happened between them. After everything was over, and John was left alone in the house, he started packing his clothes to leave the town quickly. Suddenly, Michael appeared at the house and told John that his son Sam was missing, asking him to stay and help search for him. John agreed, and they searched everywhere for Sam but found no trace of him. The police officer reappeared and offered John a ride. They continued searching for Sam for a long time, until they assumed that he might have run away due to his father's harsh treatment. Later, John went to Jackie's house to tell her father that he was finally leaving town. Before leaving, he went down to the sea, where Jackie suddenly appeared and joined him in the water. She begged him to take her with him because she didn't want to live with her father, who treated her poorly. Suddenly, the police officer and her father appeared and saw them in this situation, becoming very angry with John. John tried to explain that he had done nothing wrong, but Michael was furious, thinking that John had gotten close to his daughter to start a relationship with her. Michael attacked John and beat him, but luckily, John managed to escape quickly. When John returned home, he found the door open, and there was a monkey inside. Suddenly, Michael appeared behind him and started beating him again. The monkey attacked Michael and was about to kill him, but John saved him from the monkey. Shortly afterward, The police officer and Jackie arrived and took Michael away from John. While they were putting Michael in the car, John helped the officer. The officer then threatened John, saying that if he didn't leave the town, he would kill him. At that moment, Jackie hesitated, unsure whether to stay with her injured father or run away with John, whom she loved. In the end, Jackie decided to go with her father to the hospital. During the ride, Michael apologized to her for all the trouble he had caused due to his bad treatment. She left the car still feeling love for John, but he had disappeared from her life. And that's how the movie ends. If you enjoyed the film, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of our new content.